She spent Christmas Day surrounded by her family.
None of them know where she's been since then.
Today, they need your help to bring her home. Hello, good morning to you. This is Missing Live. Every day for the next few weeks, we're asking if you can help to find just some of the hundreds of thousands of people that go missing in the UK every year.
The police and the charity Missing People are here live and will be with us all morning. They want to hear from you. If you can help with any of the cases coming up on today's programme, you can get in touch on 0500 700 700. I'll give it again, that's 0500 700 700. Calls are free from landlines, but charges will vary if you're phoning from a mobile. Now, we've only been back on air for a few days, but already we've had lots of calls coming in. Terry from Missing People is with us once again. Come on in, Terry. What's been coming in on those phones?
Well, we've had a lot of information, actually, quite a few calls. We'll start with Jude and Millie, who the mother and daughter missing from Gloucestershire from Sunday.
We did that yesterday. Lots of people very, very worried about that one.
Yeah, a surge of calls towards the end of the programme, but a couple of really good pieces of information. So, for example, somebody thinks they saw him before the last sighting of 6:30, saw them before that with a man in their front garden.
Okay.
Police are obviously really keen to speak to him. He's described as in his early 40s, around 6 foot tall, large build, dark blonde, spiky hair.
So this could possibly be one of the last people she was seen with?
That's right. So any more information about him would be great. And obviously, they're also saying that she may have gone to isolated areas, so people need to be really vigilant and phone in with
Let's
any
have a look at a
information.
picture now. We've got a lovely. That's the most recent picture that we got. I think we can see that at home. And of note, she's actually very tall. She's 5'11", nearly 6 foot tall, so she will stand out. She's going to be very, very eye-catching if she's out there. People will recognise her. We'll be talking to you later on, Terry. Bring us more good news as we go along. And if you have any information that could help bring someone home, please call Missing People. The number's on your screen.
And we'll be speaking to Millie's dad in just a few moments. Now, Michael Bell phoned his mum and dad to say he was on his way home, but he never came back. He was only in his 20s when he went missing. Well, we don't know why for sure he disappeared, but we do know that it is quite common for men of that age to experience depression. Well, actor Joe McGann knows all too well what that's like, and he's going to be here with us to talk about it a little bit later.
But first, a husband comes home to an empty house. There's no message, and there's no sign of Annette.
Just 3 months ago, on December the 28th, Annette Shredy disappeared. Her husband, Ferry, is desperate to find her.
Annette, she has a good personality. She's kind, and every place where she goes, she makes friends.
Annette has 2 grown-up daughters, Natalia and Sasha, seen here on Sasha's wedding day. Annette's family are now doing all they can to find her. Her 20-year-old granddaughter, Chanel, has posted an appeal on the internet.
I set up a page dedicated to my nan, just gives information as to what she was wearing, when she was last seen, what she looks like, and the information on what time she was last seen and what date she actually went missing on.
Annette went missing 3 days after Christmas last year.
She has just literally disappeared. She's vanished.
Annette's always lived in southwest London near to her family. She's especially close to granddaughter Chanel.
She wasn't really kind of like my nan, she was more friend as well as a nan. We were really, really close.
She's a very sociable person. She loves to travel. She likes nice food, good wines. She's good fun.
It was when she was on holiday in Tunisia almost 10 years ago that Annette met Ferry.
They kind of built a relationship. From then they met each other every year, and yeah, he's a really nice guy.
We keep in touch on the telephone, and the relationship become serious. We decided to marry in 2004.
For the first 2 years of their married life, Ferry continued living in Tunisia. And in 2006, he moved over here. This footage of Annette walking in the park was recently taken by Ferry on his mobile phone. Even though they were living in London, they still like to go abroad.
They go on holiday like every other month and go for like weeks at a time, and they come back and they seem really happy.
She liked the sun, and she liked to go abroad, and she mixed with people, and she chat with them, and she's so sociable.
In early December last year, the couple went away for a 2-week break in Spain.
We enjoy our time there. The weather is nice. We cook together and we eat together, and we went to the market shopping, and we spent a lovely time.
The couple arrived back in England just before Christmas.
I picked her up from the airport on Sunday the 21st of December. I'd had a really nice time.
They seemed relaxed after the holiday, and they were planning on spending some time with Annette's family. Coming up, an argument on Christmas Day unsettles Annette.
She was a little bit agitated in her mood.
Just 3 days later, Annette disappears from home.
We started to worry in the afternoon when she don't keep in touch or she don't come.
Well, Annette's family are desperate to hear from her, and her granddaughter Chanel, who you've just seen in that film, will be in the studio later. If you think you know where Annette might be now, please call Missing People. The number's on your screen.
Now, just a few moments ago, Rav was talking about this very urgent case we have for you. Jude Richmond and her 9-year-old daughter Millie, who suffers from cerebral palsy, have been missing from their home in the Cotswolds since Sunday. We have Millie's dad, Neil Whitehead, on the phone for us now. Morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us. Just tell us a little bit about Millie. What's she like?
Millie is a very engaging character. She's lovely. She's very funny. She has a fantastic relationship with her mother, and what I really want to try and get across is that although she has cerebral palsy, she really is, if you saw in a restaurant sitting in a chair with her mum, you would think she was a perfectly normal person, and they get on extremely well. They're very close to one another, and they're very happy together. So the thing I want to get across is that she's just a really fantastic kid, you know.
Will she need medication? Are you concerned about that sort of thing as well?
No, she doesn't need medication. The only issue with cerebral palsy is that her legs don't work so well, bless her, and that's all it is. She can't walk very far, and she obviously needs help in getting around in mobility.
OK, just tell us about where you think they could be, where you would like people to kind of look for them.
Well, we've got from various emails and things from Jude that she wanted to take Millie away to somewhere that was secluded. It was out of the way, in a very natural environment. So a place where there's very little metal, and it's a place where there's wood, log cabins, campsites, something like that. And so what I'm really saying is that if anyone sees them, and they probably have somebody with them, and they see them in a remote place in the countryside or in Scotland or in the Midlands or in the southwest, please take a closer look and look for the fact that Millie does have disability. As you can see, Jude is striking. She's got blonde hair. Millie's got blonde hair when she stands. She's about 4'2". But they will be very happy together. They are very close. So you would not expect to see anything unusual other than her mobility. OK,
we know that the helicopters have been up as part of this search as well. How much do you know about the investigation? Where are police looking?
Yeah, they've been fantastic, the police, and I've spent a lot of time with them. A lot of the information you have, some information is new. However, the things that are worrying is that all her aids for walking were left, her walker, her wheelchair, her electric car, all the cars were left, and Jude seems to have disappeared, leaving everything open and everything in the house, and that's what's concerning us because there's been no sightings of her.
If, for example, sorry to interrupt you, if, for example, she was watching us now, you need to know, that they're safe?
All I would plead for them to do is let us know that they're safe. We're missing them terribly. We just want to know they're safe and that we can get together and help her in whatever she wants to do. But please just get in touch with us. It's important.
Neil Whitehead, thank you very much for your time. That is, of course, Millie's dad. Police really need your help on this one, so please call them. The number is 0845 090 1234. I'll repeat that again, 0845 090 1234. If you know anything at all about where Millie and her mum could be, please get in touch.
Now, the day after this photo was taken, Michael Bell disappeared. He called his parents to say that he was heading home early from holiday. Over 25 years later, he still hasn't come back.
Police Department Home Office.
1994, that is.
Sheila and Ken Bell are trying to figure out the mystery of their son's disappearance.
And that was 15 years on.
15 years after he disappeared. Missing 20 years. Michael's picture on the page.
It's over 25 years since they last saw him. In 1983, 27-year-old Michael went camping in Scotland. This is the last known photo of him taken on that holiday. The day after this, Michael disappeared.
Very sad. It is. Brings a lot of memories back. But still got those memories.
The Bell family are from Birmingham. Michael grew up here with his younger brother, Philip.
We used to fight like mad, like all boys, but we were a happy family.
As a teenager, Michael was quite shy, but he had lots of interests.
He was either in his room with his music, or me telling him off because it was too loud, or I used to watch him when he used to go and play snooker.
Michael did all right. He always had work. When he finished school at 16, he always got a job. He liked football and he had several mates who used to come round.
He used to go down to Birmingham City Ground a lot. So just a normal young man, really.
In 1983, one of Michael's mates suggested going up to Scotland camping on the Isle of Skye.
Michael thought it was going to be a huge adventure and he was thrilled to bits, really excited about going.
He was going in May and he told us in March he was looking forward to it.
That Saturday morning, his friend turned up at the Bell's house.
Michael got the whole caboodle except the kitchen sink, so Ron had to tell him what to leave behind. So they just piled everything into the van. And I do remember giving Michael a kiss and saying, goodbye, Michael, and take care of yourself.
I said we'll see you in a fortnight and keep in touch.
And they just went tootling off.
The boys took a couple of days to drive up to Skye. They broke the journey halfway, visiting Michael's auntie.
She lived in the Lake District. Elsie did ring and say they were really anxious to get away, but they did stay the night.
They would have got up to Skye by the Monday, and, just as promised, Michael did keep in touch with his mum and dad.
He rang up in the middle of the week and he sounded a little bit strange, Michael. He said they were having a good time, but it was cold and damp.
He sounded a bit disorientated. I was a bit worried by that call.
Sheila's instinct was right. Something was bothering Michael. Just a couple of days later, he rang again.
He said he was on his way home, near the border. I said, where are you, Michael? Oh, he says, I'm back in civilization. But he said, just a second, I can ask someone, there's someone here. So he opened the phone door. I heard him come back, pick the phone up, just said hello, and then the pips went. I put the phone down, waiting for him to ring back, but he mustn't have had any change, because he never rang back.
After that phone call, where did Michael go? Why did he cut short the holiday he was so looking forward to? Coming up, Ron arrives back in Birmingham expecting to find his friend already home.
He said, well, where's Michael? We said, well, he hasn't come back, and he seemed amazed.
Well, we can't be sure of the reasons that Michael disappeared, but we do know that many men in their 20s experience depression, which can influence their decision to go missing. Joe McGann has been through it. He's here with us now. Morning. Thanks very much for coming to talk to us.
That's a pleasure.
What was your experience? How did you feel?
Well, I mean, like the cases we saw, Michael, and with Paul yesterday, I was living in this world, this cloud of bleakness, of badness. And perversely enough, it was at a time in my life where I was externally very successful. And I just ended up, I just didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, I didn't want to kind of go missing and disappear as much as these guys did. But in a similar way, I was disappeared. I stayed in bed. I wouldn't go out. I'd isolate myself. And it, you know, this went on over a period of 3-4 years. And it was of my own making, a prison of my own making, if you like. And until I realised that I needed to talk, that I needed to get it out, that this thing that was inside of me was pretty common, you know. Really.
It's common amongst, particularly, it can be young men as well.
Well, yeah, the studies now say that there's a lot more young men. However, you know, sort of, young men are about half as likely as women to go and seek advice for these
And is
problems.
that something that echoed with you as well? You weren't getting out of bed and you didn't talk. Did you not talk to people?
I felt foolish. I felt foolish. I felt non-manly, if you like. I didn't think that it was the kind of what people say to you, pull yourself together. Especially, as I say, in my case, my external life appeared to be. I was doing very well in a TV series. I was doing, you know, I was all over the telly, and I was living in misery. But people, oh, pull yourself together. It's all fine. You know, what have you got to be unhappy about?
So what's your advice to people watching you this morning? You mentioned Paul Reed, he was the builder who went missing,
Absolutely,
and his
yeah.
wife is very concerned that he may have been depressed. What's your advice to people who have an echo of that feeling?
Well, I think, first of all, men particularly have to realise that it's okay to talk about your feelings. I mean, I know that sounds trite and simple. In May, Mind, the mental health charity, are running a campaign called Get It Off Your Chest, which is pointed specifically at men. Because we're terrible. I mean, until I got, you know, I've got a fantastic wife who kind of was taking no nonsense from me in the end, and she just said, come on, you've got to talk about this. And indeed we did. I opened up, and she's also expert in particular fields. She got me out exercising. She's changed my diet. I mean, there are various things that you can get from your diet. I had been taking antidepressants. She kind of steered me away from those, because staying on them for too long is not a good thing. And gradually talking about it, normalising it, it opened me up and kind of made the problem recede. And I think this is what anyone out there who's feeling these things.
I'm also interested, because that decision to go missing obviously comes some way down the line, as it were. When should people go for help? When do you know that actually you're in trouble that you can kind of get out of?
Well, you have to be honest with yourself. If you start thinking suicidal thoughts, if you start thinking about ending things, if you start thinking about disappearing, this is not normal. This is not right. You need to be able to let this out. You need to be able to go to talk to somebody. I mean, Mind information line, you know, if you go to www.mind.org.uk, they will show you their leaflets and different bits of advice and places that you can go to. There are lots that you can talk to your GP, but talk to your family, talk to your friends. I mean, it's not the silly thing. It's perverse, isn't it, that we live now in a society where people will admit to having a drink problem, they will admit to having a drug problem, but they won't admit to being depressed.
But you are not, on an optimistic note, you can get out of this place.
You can, indeed, you can. I mean, it's a matter of diet. I mean, just a simple thing like have exercise 3 times a week, 45 minutes. You know, it fills your body full of endorphins. Get out, walk in nature. Talk about it. That's absolutely the main thing.
Thank you for coming to talk to us about that.
It's a pleasure.
And remember, we have teamed up with BBC Headroom this year, so if you think you might be experiencing depression or something like that, perhaps you're concerned that someone you know might need help with mental health issues, you can log on to their website. It's bbc.co.uk/Headroom.
Right, I'm with Terry again from Missing People, so tell us what the news is of stuff coming in now.
Well, to be honest, Rob, we haven't really had that many calls, so we'd encourage people to call with any information they do have. What we have got, though, is we did have a really interesting email about Natalie Putz.
Brilliant.
She's the young mother missing we featured yesterday,
Yes.
missing from the West Midlands. And the email explains that a lady a few weeks ago thinks she potentially saw Natalie in the Wiltshire area around a traveller's.
Brilliant, and this is a very old case, about 5 years old, so that's brilliant news. Anything else quickly?
Yeah, Parvinder, we're still really Interested in the sighting we got yesterday, passed to police. Sussex Police are going to be looking at CCTV on
Which is
that.
brilliant. They're following up an inquiry which came from yesterday. And very, very quickly, anything else? You've just had an email through there, haven't you?
Just had an email from the office that say we've had a call already about Annette, who we mentioned just briefly earlier on.
Brilliant, you've got one already.
Yeah.
Excellent, but we still need people to call in with more information if they've got it. As always, if you can help missing people with any information, please call 0500 700 700.
So just 3 months ago, Annette and her husband were looking forward to celebrating New Year. Now, he's looking for his missing wife.
56-year-old Annette Shredy is from southwest London. She's got 2 daughters and has always spent a lot of time with her granddaughter.
We used to do so many things together, like go out to meals. She used to take me on holiday with her. We used to watch movies, everything.
10 years ago, Annette met Ferry in Tunisia. The couple married in 2004, and although they live in London, they go abroad a lot.
She like holiday, she will like to speak with people, and she has much energy, you know.
The couple spent last Christmas Day with Annette's daughter and her family.
She seemed everything seemed okay. She was fine with me.
But that afternoon, tempers started to fray between Annette and her daughter.
We had a little argument. She was a little bit agitated in her mood.
Mother and daughter made up, and Annette agreed to babysit Sasha's children on Boxing Day. But overnight, her plans changed.
In the morning, she phoned me and said that she was feeling unwell. So she wouldn't be able to come over. And that was the last time I spoke to her.
Just 3 days later, Annette and Ferry are spending the day at home together. Their car has mechanical problems, and Ferry wants to sort it out.
The car got much trouble and, break down many times.
Ferry's only out for half an hour, but when he gets back, Annette wasn't in.
I thought maybe she went for shopping, so I'm not worried about that. But still, the question, why she don't phone?
Ferry searches the house. He finds that Annette has left her mobile phone. He immediately thinks she's gone round to see her family.
Ferry rang me up and said, "Oh, have you seen Annette?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen or spoken to her." And he was like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh, she probably just popped out, as she is."
We started to worry in the afternoon when she don't keep in touch or she don't phone.
By the evening, there's still no sign of Annette, and everyone starts getting really concerned.
It kind of got to 2 o'clock in the morning. People just started getting worried, but then we kind of just left it until the next morning. I was probably gone out, had a few drinks with her friends, and probably just stayed the night at her friend's house.
But when there's no sign of Annette the next morning, the family report her missing. Wimbledon police immediately launch a missing persons investigation.
She was last seen by her husband at about 10 o'clock in the morning. He returned at 12 o'clock to the house to find her disappeared. The only thing she seems to have taken is some items of clothing and her handbag.
Annette has left her passport, travel card and money, suggesting she wasn't planning on going far, but one of her bank cards is missing.
The last usage was the day prior she was missing. That's been verified that her husband Ferry was present during that transaction. Since then, there's been no other transactions.
With no clue as to where Annette headed that morning, the police are baffled. Coming up, someone at a local restaurant remembers Annette as a regular customer.
Now, if I showed you a photograph of her, to see if you recognise her.
Yes, she comes in about once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks.
All right.
Well, Annette's granddaughter, Chanel, has been conducting her own search on the internet. She'll be here later, but if you can help with any information, please get in touch with Missing People. The number is on your screen. It's 0500 700 700.
An urgent case from South Wales Police now. David Harris has been missing since Saturday. He left home in Aberdare around midday and hasn't been seen since. David's just 19 years old, he's 5'6" and has short brown hair with a blonde streak. Now, he also has a few distinctive tattoos. He has the word Mackenzie on his right arm, a paw print on his left hand, and a Chinese symbol on the back of his neck. We know he was wearing blue combat jeans, black trainers, a bobble hat, and a hooded top when he left. Chief Inspector Ian Belshaw has been leading the case and he's on the phone now. Good morning, Ian. Are you there?
Yes, good morning.
What can you tell me about this case so far, then?
Well, the case at the moment, we're progressing some inquiries in relation to CCTV lines of inquiry and also carrying out extensive searches. Our efforts at the moment are being concentrated around the locality of where David actually resides in the Irvine area of the Cynon Valley.
Now, we are quite short of time, but it's important to say to him, he is not in trouble, is he? You just want to find him safe and well.
David's not in any trouble at all, and as any family would appreciate, it's a very worrying time, and we just want to reunite David with his family as speedily and as safely as possible.
Well, we really hope we can help you do that. Thanks for contacting us today. And if you've seen David and can help with any information, please call South Wales Police on 01656 655 555.
Can you also help to find this man? 33-year-old Simon Baker left his home in Whitchurch in Bristol 17 days ago. His disappearance is very worrying as he's never gone missing before. Simon is just over 6 foot, of medium build with straight dark brown hair. It's thought he was wearing a dark blue jacket, a blue shirt and a jumper, jeans and brown shoes when he left. Well, despite extensive inquiries, police haven't been able to find Simon. So if you can help, please get in touch with missing people on 0500 700 700.
Now, your son goes on holiday with a mate, promising he'll be back in 2 weeks. More than 2 decades later, Michael still hasn't come home.
Michael Bell was 27 when he disappeared in 1983. He was brought up in Birmingham. Michael left school when he was 16.
He always worked, Michael. He always got a job.
In May 1983, Michael went to Scotland camping with his friend Ron. He'd been looking forward to the fortnight's holiday for months. He'd only been away for 6 days when he called his parents and told them he was on his way home.
Put the phone down, waiting for him to ring back, but he mustn't have had any change because he never rang back.
The next week was agonising for his parents as they waited for news.
It never came Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then by Saturday, it was a terrible feeling.
Michael's friends drove back home to Birmingham alone. Would he know anything?
He brought all Michael's things back. And he said, well, where's Michael? We said, well, he hasn't come back, and he seemed amazed.
His mum and dad then reported him missing. West Midlands Police needed to speak to Ron to find out what had happened to Michael on that holiday.
Very shortly after leaving home to go to the Isle of Skye with his friend, his mental state appeared to deteriorate. Michael appeared to be in a fairly confused and agitated and distressed frame of mind.
Did being away from home and all that was familiar unsettle Michael? All Ron knew was that his friend was behaving oddly in Scotland.
In the early hours of the 14th of May, he announced to his friend that he wanted to go back home. He took only his cigarettes and a lighter and left to go back to Birmingham. Obviously, that's a fairly remote part of the country. The weather at the time wasn't good. He was ill-prepared for the weather. He was ill-prepared for the geography of the area.
We had no idea where he was. The police hadn't any idea where he was. We couldn't sort of pack up and go to Scotland and look for him.
If Michael had got waylaid on his way back, he could be anywhere between Scotland and the Midlands. With such a massive area of Britain to search, the police appealed to the public for help. Just weeks later, somebody comes forward.
At about midday on the 14th of May, Michael was seen by locals in a village called Dunvegan, which is in the northwest of the Isle of Skye. He was seen to be acting in a way that was, he appeared to be confused and disorientated. It's one of our sort of hypotheses that he was having some form of possible mental breakdown at that time.
This is a real shock for his family.
It was horrific. You know, I didn't know what to do. You still live with tremendous hope that one day when you'd been out shopping and you come back, it was going to be here. So you're desperate to get home. This is the tragedy, was that he was desperate to get home, you know. That's the worst part of it all.
Although he's now been missing for over 25 years, Sheila and Ken still keep Michael's things as they were when he was at home.
He liked Blondie, so he went to the Blondie concert, and we've got the programme, and that was, he bought that to go away in.
We keep hoping, but we're just about running out of hope now.
I've looked 1,000 times waiting to see him come across the road with his snooker rod now. You know, I always look, but obviously just miss him being around.
Michael Bell would now be 52.
DI Ian Donnelly from West Midlands Police is looking after Michael's case and joins us now. Thanks for joining us. Now, what problems are you facing with a case of this age?
Well, obviously, if this were to happen today, there'd be a number of investigative avenues that we would pursue as a matter of routine. There's certain things like mobile phone technology, CCTV, electronic ticketing systems, electronic banking systems. These are the type of things that we would routinely look at to try and locate people. That technology didn't exist 25 years ago.
Incredibly frustrating.
Creates difficulties.
So you're up against it straight away. Now, have there been any major press appeals other than this recently?
There was a lot of press attention in the early days of the first 2 or 3 years, but that press attention has continued up until about 2 years ago. There was a major press appeal, and obviously today we would look to try and raise the profile of this investigation in order to get as much information as we possibly can.
We said about raising the profile. This is very much a live investigation still after all this time, because you have hope that he could well be out there.
Absolutely. This will always be a live inquiry, and we want to try and resolve this for Michael's parents, who've obviously been through a terrible ordeal over the years. So this will remain a live inquiry with the West Midlands Police until we can bring it to some sort of satisfactory resolution.
And we all hope that you can do that. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and good luck with your appeal. If you think you have any information that could help bring Michael home, then please get in touch with Missing People.
Terry's here with us from Missing People. Even as Rav was speaking, a couple of calls have come in about Michael, haven't they?
That's right. We know we've had a couple of sightings on Michael Bell now, so that's really helpful. We've also had another call on Millie and Jude, the mother and daughter.
So we're just speaking to Millie's dad a few moments ago, and what seemed strange was he said that actually she'd left the doors open, but there's a huge investigation, isn't there?
There is. I mean, the police are doing all sorts of things. They're doing aerial searches, and there's a query on whether they took any toothbrushes with them, for example, so they're seeing really what could have happened.
OK, so we'll try and keep you up to date on that. Also, Paul Reed, the builder who's gone missing, you've had quite a few good calls on that, haven't you?
Yeah, we did. We had a lot of calls by the end of the programme yesterday, and we've got about 19 sightings now. It's really helpful. But they come from all over the country. We've got Devon, Cornwall, Manchester, the Cotswolds. So obviously we're going to pass those to police, look into those in a bit more detail.
OK, thanks very much, Terry. As always, if you can help Missing People with any information, please do call. Your calls count. 0500 700 700.
She left her phone, her money and her travel card, so she couldn't go far. But Annette's family are still wondering where she is.
56-year-old Annette Shredy met Ferry 10 years ago. They got married in 2004.
They go on holiday like every other month and go for like weeks at a time, and they come back and they seem really happy.
Annette's close to her family and loves spending time with them. On Christmas Day last year, her daughter Sasha noticed her mum was agitated. Just 3 days later, Annette disappears.
She is like she go for shopping, you know, bag and purse.
The family call the police and a missing person investigation is launched.
The first week and the second week I found extremely hard. I felt sick in my stomach, very tearful.
As you kind of rule out stuff that you think, oh, she might be here or she might be with this person, you check it out for yourself and she's not there. You kind of you run out of ideas as to where she could have been. So for the first 2 weeks, I was okay-ish, and then it just kind of hit me, and then I just completely broke down.
With little to go on, Sergeant Thomas begins to search the area where Annette lives. Someone must have seen her.
I'm just wondering if I give you a poster of this, could you put it up in the window or something?
We can do that. Yeah, that's no
Thank
problem.
you very much indeed.
Yeah, that's no
All right.
problem. Yeah.
Do you recognise this person? Have you seen her around? No. You haven't, have you? No. Oh. Could I ask you a favour? Could you put this in the window? Maybe customers might see it, recognise her. Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. All right, take care.
Ferry can't just sit at home and wait for news. He starts putting up posters, desperately hoping someone will recognise her.
I give them to some friends, if they can stick it on the cars, or I put some in Kingston, the shop where we shop usually.
He put them around sort of Rains Park and the Kingston area, the train station, shop windows.
Then, 5 weeks later in early February this year, there's a new lead. Sergeant Thomas is on his way to one of Annette's favourite restaurants. He wants to find out more.
She's been going there for years, over 15 years. We used to go there for Sunday lunch or afternoon tea.
I hope to ask staff if they've seen her there recently, who she used to attend there with, and also leave a poster for customers to have a look at and see if they can come up with any ideas to where she may be, or if they can give us any more information. I was just making inquiries regarding a missing person that we're quite concerned about. Now, from our recent inquiries, we understand that she has used this place. Now, if I showed you a photograph of her, just see if you recognise her.
Yes, she comes in about once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks.
All right, right. When was the last time you can remember her being here?
I think sometime in December. I think she told our waitress that she was going away for quite a while, for about 3 months or something.
Right. Now, when was that?
That was about the beginning of December, I think.
Right, okay.
If Annette had really said that she was going away, why didn't she tell her family? She's left her passport, travel card, money and phone at home. It's all completely out of character.
She normally would let somebody know where she is or what she's doing. This isn't like her to go away for this long.
Annette's now been missing for 3 months.
I would just welcome her back with open arms. Just to know that she's back here safely would be enough. Mum has been affected by this a lot, and she's been there just crying on my shoulder because she wants her mum to come back home.
We all miss you. We all want you back home. We're all here to support you and help you, and we can work through it.
Annette's husband doesn't know what else he can do.
He's finding it really tough. He feels completely lost.
Every single thing here in this house, reminds me of my wife.
Well, Chanel, Annette's granddaughter, is with us now. Morning to you, Chanel. Thanks very much for joining us. We saw how deeply distressing that Ferry is finding this. How's he doing now?
He's finding it very difficult, as are all the family. We're all very distressed, and it's the hardest part is just not knowing where she is and if she's safe and well. He's now currently living with us. It was just too much for him to be around all her stuff.
He said literally everything in the house reminded him of her.
Everything. So he just coming to live with us.
Okay.
now.
What do you make of it? Where do you think she could possibly have gone to?
It's a complete mystery. She just walked out of the house and just vanished. We don't know where she is. She hasn't left anything behind, even a clue as to where she could have gone. I have no idea where she could be.
She used to go on holiday. They go on holiday a lot, don't they? Do you think she could possibly, I don't know, have taken a trip abroad or something?
Her passport has been left behind, so there's no way of her getting anywhere. She didn't take any belongings, nothing at all.
You're really close to her, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
What would you like to say to her if she's out there and she's maybe just thinking about, getting in touch? What would you say?
I would just urge her just to get in contact, just to let us know that she's safe and well. All her friends and family just want her to come back home, just to know that she's safe.
And it
That's
must
what
be
I want.
particularly difficult because it was her birthday recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in January, but we didn't celebrate it. It was just too hard. We're just going to wait for her to come back home, and then we can just all celebrate together as a proper family.
You've started your own searches as well, haven't you, on
Yeah.
Facebook? What have you done?
I set up a group just to see if anyone has seen her, just giving information, there's pictures, and to see if anyone has seen her, to get in contact with me, just to get the message out there.
And she presumably, I don't know what she's like. Does she text you and stuff? She'd be quite on for that, would she?
Yeah, she would be. She doesn't use Facebook herself, but she is a very young grandma. She does know all the latest things. She does text me in.
So with Facebook, what are the sort of places they used to go on holiday? They used to go all over the world, didn't they?
Yeah, she did love travelling. She's a very big fan of travelling. She used to go to Spain quite a lot, and they used to go over to Morocco as well, and to Tunisia, Turkey, everywhere.
So if people there see her, then they could get in touch with you via Facebook?
Yeah, she's a very sociable person. She does speak to absolutely anybody, so somebody would have seen her and remembered her. She's very easy to remember.
Thank you very much, Janelle, to come and talk about your grandmother. Thank you for that. If you have any idea where Annette is, please let missing people know. The number's 0500 700 700.
Now, we're getting a great response from you this morning, but we still need more. Here's a reminder of some of the people your help is needed to find. This is 19-year-old David Harris. He's been missing since the weekend. He has some distinctive tattoos, the word Mackenzie on his right arm and a paw print on his left hand.
Your help is really needed on this one. 9-year-old Millie has been missing with her mother Jude since Sunday. She's got cerebral palsy. We spoke to her dad a bit earlier in the programme. He just wants to know that they're safe. The police number on that one is 0845 090 1234. I'm going to do it again. 0845 090 1234.
Annette Francis Shredy left home in southwest London one day and hasn't come back. We've just heard from her granddaughter then, Chanel, and we know Annette's disappearance is totally out of character. So do you know where she is?
Simon Baker from Bristol disappeared at the beginning of the month. He's never gone missing before. There's great concern for his welfare. If you can help with any of the cases, please do call missing people. The number is on your screen right now. We've had a few updates as well.
Yeah, literally stop press. Just come in from Terry at the back. Michael Bell, a 26-year-old case. We've now got 5 possible sightings of him already. I've already passed it on to the police and they're really excited about that.
Also, we're getting calls as well on Jude and Millie. Mostly they seem to be leads in the southwest region. Remember, you can call the police if you've seen them. Millie's dad really wants to know that she's safe.
A couple of people very quickly have mentioned that they've watched this on the iPlayer. Of course, it is available. If you do miss any of the programme, go back, press the red button and watch us all there in full.
And just finally, Annette Shredy as well. We were talking to Chanel just a couple of moments. 2 positive calls on that. Thank you for your calls so far. We're pretty much out of time for today, but thank you. Keep those calls coming in. On tomorrow's programme, we'll have updates on all our appeals. Plus, 74-year-old Joyce Wells went missing from Bexhill-on-Sea last November. She'd always enjoyed being with her family, but had been struggling to cope since her husband died. Joyce's daughter is going to be here in the studio tomorrow.
And the remarkable story of Richard Clark. His family reported missing, but are left totally confused when a man claiming to be Richard hands himself in at a police station.
Missing people are there to take your calls. They're there 24 hours a day, so you can call any time you like. We're going to be back at the same time tomorrow morning. Please join us then if you can help. Please call missing people. For the moment, goodbye. We'll see you in the morning.
Bye-bye.